All too many wars we Americans have fought in our turbulent history have depended greatly on intelligence. I refer to two types of intelligence. The first is the ability to acquire and process knowledge, or the faculty of thought and reason. This might be considered the intelligence required to determine whether we go to war at all, whether we commit our own people to harm's way, and to consign people we designated enemies, both military and civilian, to consign them as a consequence of our military technological superiority to death and despair. This intelligence is sometimes conflated with self-interest, so we must always be vigilant to distinguish the two. But if someone, or we, determine that we do go to war, we will certainly require the intelligence noted above, as well as intelligence of a different and more specific kind. I refer, of course, to the intelligence gathered from the enemy, his motives, his strategies, his strengths and weaknesses, his battlefield or home front tactics. We need information also to counter the enemy's intelligence, and we are certain to suffer when we underestimate the enemy's ability to gather intelligence from us. During World War II, in the horrendous confrontations with the Japanese Empire, the United States had a decisive advantage on both counts, intercepting, decoding, interpreting Japan's strategic and tactical maneuvers, as well as protecting against Japanese appropriation of American battle plans. To a certain extent, the fact that the Japanese were capable of cracking our codes was enabled by our notions of racial superiority. The same assumption of Japanese inferiority that allowed Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto to launch that disastrous strike on Pearl Harbor, on my home island of Oahu. Also President Barack's home island of Oahu, on December 7th, 1941. It is most fitting that the National Japanese American Memorial Foundation host this reception at the National Museum of the American Indian. And we thank Director Kevin Gover very much for this support. And my old boss, Undersecretary Richard Kieran, as well, for his generosity and support. We also thank the Smithsonian APA program for bringing these events to enhance Smithsonian education and enrich our communities. So thank you especially Gina Inocencio and Krista Aniel, and also Noriko, Ricky, Gail, Terry, Sachin. You know who you are, and we are very grateful to you. We honor the Navajo Code Talkers because one of our key constituents is the primarily Japanese-American group of linguists in the military. Several thousands of these Japanese Americans fought in many theaters of war, but especially in the Pacific, and provided intelligence for major strategic efforts, including the ambush of the above-mentioned Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto when he was flying over the Philippines. At the same time, Japanese American linguists provided critical intelligence regarding location of enemy troops, and even information detailing specific times and places where enemy attacks were planned. The Japanese government expected that American-born Japanese Americans, American citizens, would support the homeland of their parents. Ironically, our own government was blinded by the same assumption, leading to the mass imprisonment of 120,000 Japanese Americans. Thankfully, and to a certain extent predictably, both governments were wrong. Blood is not thicker than water. The Navajo Code Talkers began with a small class of 29 individuals who created an unbreakable code using their native language as a base. Eventually, over 400 Navajos were assigned to every one of the 6 Marine divisions deployed in the Pacific. They were considered so valuable that a non-Indian Marine bodyguard was assigned to each code talker, usually without his knowledge, to prevent him from falling into enemy hands. This bodyguard was ordered if the code talker was in danger of being captured, to shoot and kill the Navajo. These code talkers enabled the Marines to communicate without fear of eavesdropping. The Japanese enemy, therefore, could not learn where troops would be sent, when reinforcements might be available, or whether air or naval bombardment could be expected. Their value to the Pacific War was immense. So, ironically, our government's policy of encouraging or enforcing English as the sole language of upward mobility was resisted by both Japanese Americans and the Navajos. Both are difficult languages to acquire, and both languages were officially discouraged before World War II. Indeed, Indians were punished in school for speaking their languages. For us, the issue was similar. It took a Supreme Court decision in 1927 to keep local districts from eliminating Japanese language schools supported by the Japanese American community. The fact that over 400 Navajos could speak their native language as well as English was therefore most fortunate for our war effort. It was also a blessing received in spite of America's best efforts to eradicate Navajo language and culture. So we have this most interesting scenario this evening, where a Japanese American band of brothers gathers to honor a Navajo band of brothers for using languages to defend their homeland, the United States, which had officially denigrated both people and languages. If this is not a ringing validation and justification for the cultivation of diversity, I do not know what might be. Thank you.